I mean, don't give me a minute. Just hold on. Let me just adjust here. There we
Ooh, I didn't set that up properly. So let me know when you're ready.
go. I'm ready.
All right, here comes the music.
That's right. It's
That's
the
right.
morning
It's the
show here
morning
on
show.
ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. We got Mr. Jesse Sanchez over here in the wing, just making sure everything is ready to go. We got lots of stories to talk about. A little bit later on, we're actually going to be joined by a Purple Heart recipient, 4-tour Iraq War veteran, and retired Army sergeant and wounded warrior. We're going to be talking to Bobby Henline, who's going to be talking about something very positive, and it's called keeping things lighthearted, especially during a time where we all need a little fun in our lives. Yes, director Noni Geffen helmed the documentary about him, about the American war hero turned stand-up comic, and we're going to be joined by him in a little bit. Super excited about this. His story is one of which many can do online. Actually, you can do that right now. It's very simple. You just type in welldonecomedian.com. You'll find the information, and sometimes people say they know what it's like, but they don't know what it's like when they have to serve. And when you have to serve, and you have to serve, and then technically you give everything and then some, including your body. He suffered 40% of his body after an IED blast blew up his Humvee. And of the 5 men in his vehicle, he's the only survivor. So he has had to deal with a lot more than the average person that says they know what it's like when they really don't. So he's turned his life around. You could find out his information here at welldonecomedian.com and check out all of his information right there. His about line, what he's doing, where he's performing, and how he's doing it. So this being done into a documentary is one that really is a good idea. I'm going to click on his Instagram. I think you guys should follow him as well. Again, on Instagram, go check it out, Bobby Henline, and you'll get all the information right there. It's Bobby_Henline, and you'll see him as a motivational speaker and comedian and actor and co-founder of Bravo 748, which is what we'll all talk about a little bit later on the show. Okay, so he's a fun guy with a very interesting story, and one of which definitely is meant to inspire and then some. So we're going to have him up on a little bit later. I'm excited by this. I know you are as well. And go follow him. All right, it's Bobby_Henline. We got Mr. Jesse Sanchez over there. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning. Okay, so I recognize Bobby Henline. Um, I didn't know the address to his website. Now, he has to be a comedian. He has to have a sense of humor. I'm assuming he's making fun of the burns on his face or body with the well done comedian. Well done.
Got it. Oh, right.
Saying?
I don't know actually. I haven't. You might be right. I don't really know. I'm going to do some more research on the break. But yeah, I mean, look, like you said, like imagine the worst case scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having gone to war, and facing. He's technically the second person I've met with burn injuries. With the other man from Dancing with the Stars, and he as well, very positive man as well. I've wanted to get him on the show. We haven't had a chance. So, but you'll find that talk about turning what many would say, I don't know how I would recover from that. Many don't know how to recover, but they usually have somebody in their life that helps them recover, if that makes any sense, and or people that are positive in their life, because it's hard to do it all by yourself for positivity, right? So obviously he surrounds himself with good people, and I think it teaches us a lot about ourselves, many of which go, kind of on outward appearance versus inward appearance. And so he's built more of his inward appearance and his character and his ability to support other people as well as veterans and those that lose limbs and lose sometimes their brother in arms. That in of itself can be a difficult thing to know you're the only survivor, but to push through, to go through life, and then to do so in such a way to bring a better world into other people's lives. So for him to turn into comedian and then do this and do it successfully, obviously, I mean that says a lot about his true self, right?
Oh, most definitely. I want to see his shows. There's this part in his bio. I swear it's hilarious. It says during his initial 6 months hospital stay, he would regularly put nurses in headlocks and tried to keep other wounded spirits up. That is amazing. I freaking love this guy.
Yeah, he really is excited for this. You'll see again all of his fun stuff. Oh, yeah, he's even made it on Simpsons. So there you go. And he says, I've been Simpsonized. Oh, on the Turn Me Yellow. Okay, all right, got. That's the fun app. It's the fun app. Yeah, it's Turn Me Yellow, and then it makes you kind of into that. But look at that, 800,000 followers. He's built a career for himself, and he keeps positivity with the loved ones in his life. You could tell. So he's that kind of guy. So he's the type of guy you want around in your life. All right. Switching gears entirely, let's talk about what's going on in the news. Lots of information there. And of course, you can download our app. It's free. KMET 1490 AM. We're going to social media first. Comments there. We've got, let's see, Camille there. Thank you. She says it's also livewelldone.com. And you can check that out. We'll show you the webpage as well, livewelldone.com. So you can check that out, and we appreciate that. Thank you. Maria says hello. Hello, Maria, all the way from Canada. Thanks for tuning in. All right. Lots of questions about coronavirus. What are the latest situations? What are the latest stats? Stats are kind of like boring at this point. You know what I mean, Jesse? Unless, of course, you could breathe some life into what's happening so that people understand why it's happening. Is there anything that you think people don't understand that we should kind of say, hey, wake up and pay attention? Or do you think people kind of get it now?
Honestly, I don't think so. I remember reading an article about a bunch of people that were using, what was it, like horse dewormer or something like that. So as long as you get these giant social media influencers spouting crazy stuff, yeah, no, you will not.
Got it. Yeah. So be careful of those, right? That's one of those things. We've
I,
seen
I,
that.
I have horse dewormer. How do that? Why would you do that?
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
I don't know. I think. Well, you know what? Look, all I know is Labor Day, which was yesterday, which a lot of us. I did go to an appointment. They were closed. I'm like, oh man, I went to the appointment for nothing. I kind of forgot. I didn't know my chiropractor would be because I'm going there for therapy, right? And they're completely closed. So I was like, okay, people are relaxing today, and people did relax. I had some Chinese food. It was good. But here's the top headline: Labor Day saw 300% more new COVID cases. What? They surged in 31 states last year, and this one they're saying, yeah, it's on the rise already. So we're back right where we started, and that's the problem. Now it's funny. A lot of people have a lot of misinformation out there, and I literally had somebody say, "Do you know more than doctors?" And I say, "No, I don't know more than doctors. Obviously, I just know because I do research on stuff." But then there's people that spew a lot of information out when they don't understand how they're making it sound, right? Like combination of vaccines. How many combination of vaccines would you take all at once, Jesse, if you needed to fight several different things? Would you take 3, 4, 5, 8, 12?
Oh, Lord, I have no idea. I'm not a doctor, so I would know what to inject in myself.
Yeah. But if you talk to certain doctors and you say, okay, I have to take like several different vaccines, which one do I take first? Some people are smart to ask this because they have different vaccines out right now. One for if you've had measles, right? And then they call it, what do they call it again? I don't know why it always escapes me. But it's a pretty powerful vaccine. If you take that too close to the coronavirus vaccine, it could cause problems, especially if you take it with the Moderna one, and that vaccine. You have to give it time and space in order for it to kind of be in your own biology, right, of your body. However, some people take a bunch of them all at once because they go to CVS and go, I need this, I need this, I need this, and then CVS and or other places are so busy getting people, with vaccines, they don't bother to ask, certain key questions about, things that are different in every single person. So when you combine the flu vaccine along with coronavirus vaccine, there's a lot of questions as to, is it safe, is it right, is it wrong? So we're going to have some experts around the corner to be able to answer that for us, because a lot of people do have questions on that. Do you combine the vaccines? Do you take them all at once? If you have one, will that help the other? So I have to kind of pose this to each and every person. If you had the ability to get both, would you take both at the same time? And if you have the ability to get both, which one would you take first? And I just, just thinking at the top of your head, Jesse, do you get the flu?
No, not actually, not very often. I'm trying to remember the last time I remember getting it. It's been a while.
Yeah. And usually for those like that are senior citizens of like 55 and up is kind of a broad statement, but those that are prone to pneumonia and other things usually will be first in line to get a flu vaccine. Now they've been offering that since mid-August, all right, and a lot of people have kind of gotten it, but there are certain things coming up in the fall season which are going to get people sick regardless of what happens, right? Now, the question, though, is which one is the deadlier of the two? Coronavirus, Delta, and then some, or the flu? And now, last year, if we remember people talking about coronavirus, they said, "Oh, it's just a simple flu. You'll get over it, right?" But if you had to put two against each other, which one is the worst of the two, Jesse?
Oh my God. I have no idea. They're both bad to me because I hate the flu. I do not like when I get the flu, I get sick. Like I don't even like to do anything.
Right. But you kind of hit it on the nail there. We've gotten the flu a lot of years,
Mm.
and usually people will like suffer through it, like throwing up, stomach flu. We've all had the flu, right? But more often than not, you'll survive that flu. But coronavirus has a higher death rate and other complications from it that are completely different than the flu, even though it has symptoms like the flu. Does that make sense? Does that make some sense? Because I think some people are like, no, it's the same thing. They're still going to go back into that. Does that kind of make sense?
No, no, it makes sense. You would want to take a vaccine for something more dangerous first, than the lesser one after.
Yeah, and combining them all at the same time with certain
Yeah.
human biology can do a number on you, right? That's a little too much sometimes for the body. So usually they like to space them out a little. So my point is this: if you had to prioritize getting the coronavirus one over the flu shot, but do get the flu shot. Don't not get the flu shot, especially if you're susceptible. And those usually 55 and over have certain heart conditions and or other things that might uh, make them more prone to it. But if you just got the flu and no coronavirus, you're about 80% more likely to be okay than not. But it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be hospitalized. Usually, a good like 1 to 2% may get hospitalized from the actual flu than coronavirus, whereas the hospitalization rate right now is almost about 40 to 45% hospitalization rate with coronavirus. And that's called intubated, kind of passed out, and having to get stuff into your lungs, right? Because you can't breathe. So when people are giving information out there, just prioritize in your own mind which of the two, not saying not to get both, I'm just saying prioritize, because sometimes certain smart ones will say, well, did you just get the flu shot? And then you go, yeah, well, then you have to wait for the vaccine shot. But I say, don't do that. Get the vaccine shot first before the flu shot, because your chances are higher that you'll die of, like, if you would die of the flu, you would definitely die of coronavirus. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, it does, most definitely.
Yeah. But typically, the flu shot helps certain age groups and or uh, it's complicated, but nobody takes into account human biology. If they had a test for human biology ahead of time and said, okay, these are the things that complicate your human biology, just like food. Certain people cannot eat certain types of foods because their body doesn't process certain foods well. So some need more protein, some need less protein, some need more carbs, some need less carbs, some need more certain types of natural fats over other fats, but everybody's different. So no two, you could categorize them, but everybody's body is different. So and then age group, height group, man versus women, and all this stuff. So it is what it is. Anyway, Maria says in Ontario, Canada, we have more cases at this time than we had last year. This date, not a lot, but still more. Fourth wave coming. Remember, she's in Canada there. And she says, in November, I get my flu shots always. And remember, she's among the most sickest of people. But some people are already giving them in August. I say, why do that? Because by the time November, December rolls around, it's less effective. So I say get it at least early October, right? But some are already giving them out. So there you go. She says, we have 4 stages of reopening. We are still number 3. When more people get vaccinated, we go to stage 4. Pneumonia shot 2, not just flu shots. Yeah. So there's so many different shots that people are like, okay, drug me up. And some are not meant to be combined with others. Just so you know, just like certain drugs, you don't intermix certain drugs with others. But some pharmacists honestly are so inundated with people coming to them now. They're just like tired, and they're like, well, what does the thing say? I don't know if you've ever had that where you're like, well, how do I do this? They go, well, let's see, let's read this. And you're like, okay, I get it. You want me just to read it. But, so be careful when asking pharmacists certain questions, do the research, and then be careful of certain news articles. Some news articles are getting skewed in certain directions to kind of make it like, oh no, it's all okay. When in reality, you ask a doctor or a smart physician, they're like, no, don't do that. So there you go. All right. We'll bring awareness in the coming days, but we have to take a quick break here on the morning show. We'll be back with more, including, yeah, that's right, funny man, Bobby. We're going to talk about that as well around the corner. Stay tuned for more right after these messages.
And more to break.
All right, those of you tuning in, we are on our break. Just checking out some stuff online. And here's his website, the film's website, I should say, livewelldone.com. And there's Bobby. Support the film. A veteran of Desert Storm by age 19. He deployed to Iraq 3 times. And he was inspired to re-enlist in the Army after the text in America on September 11th. Wow. That's just around the corner, right, Jesse?
Oh, yeah.
13 years in the Army. And then on his 4th tour, that's when things went wrong. Check out his information there. And
just going once is he gets my respect. You have to have a lot of courage to go over.
Yeah. I'm gonna put pause on that. Just double check it. And he lost his hand. I don't know if people saw that, but you can see that there. So, but good man. So there you go.
Anyone who can stay upbeat in a situation like that. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
It's so easy. It's so easy to give up when you're injured or just when bad stuff happens in general.
Yeah. That's the best way to put it, I think. It's so easy to give up. It is so easy to give up. And sometimes people need the reminder of that, right? That's the way we are, right? We need reminders sometimes.
We really do, because it's like, it really is, because it's so easy to give up, but it takes a lot more courage to keep going through it.
Yeah, and I have a feeling
20 seconds.
he's not the kind to let you get kind of sad for too long, right?
Yeah. Especially if you be putting nurses in headlocks. Oh my lord.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that coming up
Here
around
we
the
go.
corner.
Coming back.
Okay.
5-2.
Welcome back. Yes,
Welcome
it
back.
is the
Yes, it
morning show
is the
here on
morning show here
ABC
on
News
ABC.
Radio KMET 1490 AM. We appreciate each and every one of you for spending time with us. Here's some of the top news headlines. The Taliban have announced a new caretaker government. Yes, they fire into air to break up Kabul's largest street protests yet. People are kind of wanting to fight back. Not sure how long that's going to last. That means it's a terrible situation happening there. The new interim government is going to be made up of, well, this is what they announced, a hardline new caretaker government. I don't know why they call it caretaker. They don't take care of anything, seriously, except hurt people. With veteran Taliban member Mullah Mohammed Hassan Akhund as interim prime minister and Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar, who's a co-founder of the militant group, as his deputy. Mullah Yaqub, one of the deputy leaders of the Taliban since 2016, will act as caretaker defense minister. So they basically are saying, okay, this is how we're going to roll. This is what we're going to do. The announcement comes weeks after they seize control of Afghanistan, and it goes into how their leadership of the country will begin to take shape. Now, if you know anything about these men are men that just want power, period, end of story. They want the power, they want the ability to control people, and they want the ability to dictate what people do. If you know these people, you'll know that they're the kind of people that end up doing never the right thing for the people. They always do the wrong thing as long as they get to be kind of top dog. If they get to be top dog, then they're the ones that say, look, we know what's right, you don't. We know what to do, you don't. You follow what we say, or there'll be consequences. And then, they let their other men, which is kind of like a disorganized mess right now. So they're like, well, who's the one to do it? Well, you stop eating that sandwich. You go kill him. Okay, good. And that's kind of how they roll right now. So they're not very organized. The fact that they call it what they're calling it, caretaker government, is kind of weak already. And I have no problem bringing that up because they're still doing a lot of really bad things over there. We've already heard about some murders happening, some in public, some others that people don't even want to think about can happen. There's going to be a lot of problems there. And the question of the day is what's going to happen here on the home front, as well as there, because terror cells don't come from nowhere. They come from places and people that actually organize them to go against the United States of America and the people here. So
what a year. We pulled off a lot of stuff we used to think was...
When we have a situation happen, there'll be questions, wait, why did we pull back when we should have gone forward? And when that happens, people will probably point the finger, and then others will say, no, don't look over there, when in reality, that's where they're going to start organizing. So 9/11 is around the corner. I know it's in people's heads. I think we're in a really weird situation right now that this is happening. But I'm telling you, we have to not be weak at this time. We have to make the right choices to save the people. And if you do the right choices to save the right people, aren't we all right? Homeland Security is doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, trying to keep us safe here on the home front. We may not see them always, like running around doing things, but they are doing things. We're just not aware of it. So when they do certain awareness programs, like I just saw one this weekend, which was a press conference on beware of hacking situations, especially around Labor Day. They're already seeing hacking situations happen with certain government institutions. So they may not say it on like really big news, but they're fighting it in cyber terror situations, meaning people that actually certain terrorist organizations have the ability to recruit other young ones and or middle-aged ones, like usually anywhere from as young as like 8, more like 17 to 28, and they'll get them probably as early as like 15, but usually they kind of mold them from afar using recruitment type propaganda videos, which I know the Army has access to, and they try to weed it out. But this is all stuff that you can find online, which is really terrible when you think about it. Like, people go like, well, how did my kid get involved with this? They did research on stuff that caused them to want to kind of go against the states, so to speak, with propaganda about how the states is. But I go, if you're that child and or kid that's believing that stuff, look at how the Taliban have kind of completely decimated Afghanistan in of itself. Which brings me back to the video that you and I saw, Jesse, where we saw Afghanistan literally look like the 50s here at the home front, but now they wear like robes and look like they're from Bible days of Jerusalem, which for me is okay if you're doing a Bible drama about Jesus and the people of Jerusalem, but it doesn't make sense when you go, shouldn't you guys be smarter and not be dumbing down? Like, aren't women smarter than men on average? What do you think, Jesse?
That women are smarter than men?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to deny that. That's guaranteed.
Yeah, so when you dumb down their education or tell them where to go or tell them to stay home or tell them not to do things, you're already dumbing down like 3/4 of the nation, just so you know, because typically there's more women than men on average. So it's just dum-dumville over there, I guarantee it. All right, we're going to take a break here on the morning show. We got Bobby next here on the show. Can't wait to talk about this next here on the morning show. Stay tuned.
Okay, I have a short break, so no worries.
Yeah, make sure. Let's see.
Bobby's already on the line.
Oh, good. Bobby. How you doing, Bobby? You snuck on me there.
You did. It's the Army training.
Yeah. Hold on.
All right, come up like a ninja. Like,
bring up your video here in a minute. Sharp. Let's test.
All right, hear me? Testing. Hear me good? How's that? A little bit louder. Yeah. You doing good? Or you want to talk louder? Probably far away from the phone. A little better here.
We'll reintroduce you. We're on the commercial break right now, but
Right.
it's like everybody being like those that didn't know your story. Now they know your story. I know your story for quite some time. To the Indiegogo project of that all of money raised, volunteer money, 128 factors, 39 days left. Imagine, did this come to you, or you kind of went to it? Like, how did it work?
Yeah, I had in my head, but it came to me. It unfolded through the producer, director Nani. Like, hey, we should do this. Oh, it's the same thing. Good idea.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Apparently people are hearing an echo on Bobby.
Oh, are they? Okay, good. I mean, not good, but let me figure out where that's at. I mean, thank you for telling me. Is my point. Hold on. Yeah, there's a couple. There it is. Okay. All right. Thank you. Got that beforehand. All right. Go and talk now, really quick.
Is that sounding better now?
Yeah. I think so. Right, Jesse? Yeah. I think
10 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Apparently, there's still an echo.
There shouldn't be an echo now. I just removed it, but.
And here we're coming back.
Okay. That's right. It's the morning show on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez, and it is that time for some inspiration, which I think we definitely need. 9/11 is around the corner, and there's a lot of questions whether or not there are things that are happening around the world that are for better or for worse. We've got coronavirus, we got, situations of war, we got people going to war. We got other ones just trying to keep the peace. We got things here on the home front that we're going, can we bring some inspiration back home for our family members here and abroad? And joining us right now is somebody who has done it all and then some, and has given his own life in many ways for his fellow men in arms. I'm talking about somebody who keeps things lighthearted as much as possible, while probably in the thick of things. We got Bobby Henline. Good morning. Welcome to the show, Bobby.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you for joining us. I got to ask, obviously, Bobby, you've got a cool documentary that kind of follows you around and then some. And this, though, is just kind of a snapshot of something that you've been doing for quite some time, which is kind of bringing laughter, fun, and lightheartedness to people's lives day in and day out. What keeps you going and motivating people all the time?
Early on, I learned by just being myself and continuing to be me after the injuries that I can help other people. I had to be strong for my children. And I was the only survivor in Humvee that day. So for those other 4 men and their families, I got to keep living my life to the fullest.
Yeah, speaking of living your life to the fullest, and I can imagine, the family is not to get too down on that, but that day must have been one of which was not only difficult to survive, but one of which probably replays in your head ever so often. Is it possible for one who, like, let's say it's not you, but other ones that come back from war to be able to completely forget ever?
You don't ever completely forget. You don't want to, because they're never forgotten. You want to keep their names alive, and you want to live for them. And to others that might be struggling with this, with the survivor's guilt, I always share what I do. It took me a while to learn it. I still got to remind myself about it. But I put myself in, I flipped the coin, the other shoes. If I wasn't the one to make it home, what would I want for the one that did, those that did make it home? Of course, I'd want them to live their life to the fullest. I want them to live their life well done, and to keep going.
Yeah, see, and it's one thing to say it, and I know, and because we've had so many motivational speakers on here, and they always have a story of their own, and you can never knock the story of one to the next. Having said that, I got to imagine once somebody comes back from one of your stand-up comedy moments, you must have some pretty personal stories, including I've seen you take pictures with the youth of our generation. What kind of questions do you get that might be awkward at first, but you know how to just turn it around?
Yeah, it's a really unique situation. And speaking to high schools and stuff like that, these high school students come up afterwards and they share a story of a family member that was in the military, or maybe they had lost a parent, something like that. They give them these really unique stories of their lives. They share that when they can go off and go off to recess or lunch or whatever break they get. They want to stay and stand in line to talk to me, to share their story with me. It's incredible.
Yeah, and I got to imagine, because I think of ones that, really suffer, like, inside and sometimes outside, like, I'm thinking, like, cancer patients. I'm thinking ones that, need some brightness. I got to imagine they see something in you that they know you understand them better than anyone, right?
Yeah, I do get a lot of comments on social media, messages and stuff like that from women that have been abused, have been raped, or parents have lost their children. Because I'm so open, I think, because on social media, I'm very open about my good days, my bad days, and then people feel they can talk to me and share their stories, and I'm glad they do. I'm honored that they feel comfortable to be able to share such a dark secret with me and what they're going through.
And why is that? Because I don't know that story.
What's that?
Well, they're so open to sharing that about rape and such.
Yeah. I think they're so open to sharing with me because I'm so open about my injuries and what I go through every day. And no matter what you've gone through physically, it's the emotional part. That's the struggle we have the rest of our lives. The physical part, I get used to not having one hand. You know, I got one hand, I got burns, I can't close one eye. I can't change that. I figured it out. But the emotional side, the mental side, that battle you do, that's the toughest one. The worst thing you've done in your life, and I don't say this to downside, you've been in a car accident and you walked away from it, but it's something in your mind that goes over and over and plays in your head, then it's just as bad as what I went through.
You know what? I thank you for saying that. I know Jesse has a question, right? Jesse, I can feel you just having a question. What's your question, Jesse?
Okay, the main question I have is the title to your website, Well Done Comedian. Is that for the burns?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I was just like, that is clever. I just love your sense of humor and the fact that you can stay so upbeat.
Thank you.
And positive, because I know there are times where stuff can pull you down, but you just got to keep moving and just don't let that stuff drag you down.
Yeah, that's the big lesson. You know, if I can do it, you can do it. It's nothing that's going to just go away, and there's no magic thought or thing you do each day to make it go away. It's a constant battle, but you learn to live with it, so it's not as bad.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that as well, because let's talk about this as documentary again. LiveWellDone.com. I'm gonna bring it up here as we're speaking really quick, and there's so much support on this. How can people check it out? How can they participate? How can they donate if they can?
Yeah, if you can donate or share, it's livewelldone.com. On there right away, you'll see all about my story, what I do. There's a little button to donate for that are Indiegogo Live Well Done to make this documentary. I've been doing this for 12 years, speaking to high schools, doing comedy shows all over the country, Canada, and I've learned that I can help others through my story. And so I want to be able to do that and capture it in a documentary.
Hi, folks. I am Noni Geffen.
I mean, I can write a book and tell you how great I am, or I did this, or I did that. But I want you to see. I can tell you, I can make up anything in a book, right?
Yeah.
I want you to see the reactions, like we talked about earlier, of these high school kids coming up and talking to me, sharing their stories, people that I meet along the way. I want you to see that side and what it does and how we can all help each other by sharing our stories. I'm just one story, but if I could take it to the next platform and help more people, then that's what I want to do with this documentary. Let's help more people with it.
Well, I appreciate that, especially when we all need a lot of inspiration during coronavirus, right? A lot of people having to stay home and such, right, Bobby? But look, I'm looking at this. I know you're a Purple Heart recipient. We talk about the aftermath of war. We've had a lot of questions on that statement. Obviously, you served. You were on your 4th tour. You did what you could do for your country, no matter what. And I have to ask, when you were recovering, were there people in your life that helped you along the way? Which I'm starting to see people from Everybody Loves Raymond on this documentary. The documentary, by the way, just so you know. And were there people along the way that helped you, kind of to the point where you were able to help others? Like they helped you when they didn't know they were helping.
Yeah, I've met people all along the way, from the staff to family, from the beginning of time in the hospital, my occupational therapist who talked me into doing stand-up comedy. I would have never thought to do that. I just was being me. And so along the way, I've been able to meet all these people. And then once I started doing comedy, people helping me along the way. You just mentioned it. You just saw Brad Garrett. He's helped me along the way with the comedy. He gave me my first big shot doing his comedy club in Las Vegas. So there's been so many people along the way that are in that spider web of my life, that connection, that strength that helps me get to the next level.
In of itself is just hilarious. I mean, I think most people are.
Yeah, of course. I mean, what a great guy. And this is his humbleness. I've never asked him for anything back. He just genuinely wanted to help me. He said, hey, name 3 days you want to come out to Vegas. I'm going to give you a chance at comedy. And since then, he's actually come to San Antonio. He helped me do some other shows, hosted shows to help wounded veterans. We've done a few different things together. I've gone back to his show, doing shows for veterans, raising money for different organizations. So, I mean, he's just been there all the way through this, and he just stays in the background, and just helps out when he can. He's amazing.
Well, I gotta say, I'm super excited about everything you're doing. I want to say I can't wait to see this. When is the quickest that we could see this here? Well, I'm gonna say the U.S. obviously because
Yeah.
I want to see this, like stream it. But what's the soonest we could see this?
Well, we're doing a lot of the pre-production right now. We'll hopefully start shooting February, March, and hopefully get us out by next year. Just want to see how it all goes, how much money we raise, and what we're able to do with it. So I'm really excited.
All right. Well, I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited that you're doing this. I'm glad that you're continuously kind of putting out positivity out there. I already know when we meet, I need a picture with you. Okay, we got to do a selfie.
Sounds good. Love the selfies.
All right, buddy. Okay, so go check it out. LiveWellDone.com is where it's at. And we have to take a break here, but you can follow him on Instagram, on social media. Add your support, add your love, and keep him going and keep the fun going. Right, Bobby?
That's right. That's where you can find me everywhere. Keep spreading love.
There you go. All right. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more right after these messages. Stay tuned. All right, Bobby. Thank you so very much for the time. I'll talk to your publicist a little bit later, okay?
Okay, sounds great. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, Bobby.
I enjoyed that. I wish we had like an hour with him, honestly.
Right? That could totally do an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. It is not an easy thing to come back without your friends. And I think he said something very telling, which is, if the roles were reversed, what would he want, right? And that's the thing that, families don't really fully understand until you served with your brothers, right? And or women in service. And you go through a situation like that because it's just not an easy thing, period, in the story. In fact, he uses the hashtags, what's strong with you, hashtag got burns, and hashtag well done comedian. So, yeah, there you go. You were right, Jesse.
Okay. No, I just wanted to make sure. I think it's funny that he's just so lighthearted.
Yeah, he's just fun. Yeah.
Because it's so easy to just stay down and just wallow in the darkness.
Yeah. Well, the darkness can be all-consuming, right?
It can be. It's so easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there you go. All right. So I'm excited. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for those surrounding him that are lending the support to this film. I'm excited to see it get done. He's doing a lot of great stuff with his time, and super excited about that. But yeah, if you
I give props to anyone who goes overseas in the military.
Yeah,
it's something I could never do. Like I want to think I can do it, but I want to say that I'm too mentally unstable.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be honest.
Yeah.
Plus, I have allergies. Ugh.
Yeah, Maria says, awesome guest and show as always. Thank you. Says, we all have the same feelings and emotions, but from different stuff. So it's easier to share with someone who understands that and moves forward in life as well. Yeah, right? Yeah. Well, for some people, the scars are on the inside, right? And you don't really understand that in people. For him, the scars are on the outside. So I could imagine, like I know with my sister, I always get looks with my sister because she's mentally disabled, like severely, and we always get looks. But I go, man, if you only knew the story, of my sister, you'd understand. She makes people smile, even at the adult home. And she's very responsible. She's very, more than what they think. But when people see the outward side, they don't know the story, right? So
10 seconds.
When you know the story, then you go, oh, but it's like, is the story more important or treating somebody as an individual more important? Like, which is more important at the end of the day, right?
Here we go.
That's right. It's
That's
the morning
right.
show
It's the
here on
morning show
ABC
here on
News Radio KMET 1490 AM. And if you enjoyed that interview, we got more interviews like it coming up in the week and then some. Lots of great news, lots of great stories. And if you really enjoyed that, definitely let us know. I just got information from the publicist that we can get them for a full hour. So maybe we can donate some of that time to get some more inspiration for all of us, because I think it's that time, especially with coronavirus. I think in the next coming weeks, probably like 3 or 4 weeks, we probably will have them back, because a lot of us are like, okay, we're done with coronavirus, blah, blah, blah. Let's get over it. You know, the war in Afghanistan, I got questions on that. I know a lot of people are upset by that. I think he probably has a fresh perspective than most. And I think we just need to kind of go, okay, where are we at in life? Obviously, a lot of us don't have to serve in any type of government institution trying to protect, you know, people here at the home front. And even though people sometimes don't understand, you know, the war itself, you do understand wanting to stay safe. So, like, you know, you've got situations like when National Guard pulled in, right, to help keep people safe here at the home front, and or like, you know, the hurricanes. You want those that are trained and are specifically ready to keep, you know, everybody safe. You want ones to make sure, you know, there's peace kind of in your own neighborhood. You don't want problems in your own neighborhood. You don't want buildings being burned down. You don't want people killing each other. You don't want these things happening. So these are the times when you go, okay, I respect it, you know, and then you find out the human side of, you know, these families, which are usually kind of in the side, but you don't understand. I know my mom likes to watch this show. I think it's called Army Wives. And you don't understand the complications of home life with those that kind of have to see their loved ones go serve elsewhere. They hope they'll come back, and those that don't come back, that's a difficult situation to find yourself in, and that in of itself is very frustrating for those that give of their family members, and you don't know what they have to go through, especially when they have to serve again and again and again. They try to keep it positive, but there's always that thought of, what if this is the last time I see this, you know, loved one of mine, including the kids. So it always, you know, is a touchy moment. I know when we see certain ones where, you know, the person comes back from their service and then they surprise their family members. I don't know. Have you seen those, Jesse, where they all of a sudden surprise them, or they're standing behind them, and then it's like, there's some that come to my mind where the kid turns around and like they cry because they're just so glad to have their father back, you know, or mother back.
Oh yeah, those videos. Every time I click on those, for some reason, it activates like a little button inside me, and then I start crying. So I don't listen. I don't watch them anymore.
Yeah, I know. I almost don't want to see them, and then I'm like, wait, what happened? And then it's usually the young ones when you see them just break down, and it's like, oh god, I don't want to see that. I'm thinking of one that I remember seeing, and the kid just, you know, and I think even the parent didn't understand. You know, it takes a toll on the family. However, it takes a toll on the minds of those that serve as well. So don't ever underestimate somebody that has had to gone to war, and when they come back, a lot of them have internal scarring. He has external scarring, which thank God he's alive, but internal and external, you have to kind of move forward with it. At least he has the ability to voice it, whereas others kind of don't voice it at all, and that can create problems in one's own mind. So that's why, when we've had other ones, and I'm glad he's part of the Wounded Warriors project as well, and others, because we've lent support as well to a couple. I know with a good friend of mine, Patrick Kilpatrick, who kind of put me in touch with some organizations like this. You learn very quickly the stories of these that, you know, back I give people kind of perspective and go, okay, in the Bible, there were those that went to war. Like, everybody knows about David and Goliath, but people forget about David in the times of Israel, right? Like, you know, he had a mighty army nation, right? He kind of inherited, right, because he was anointed. But they went to war with other nations surrounding them, right? So people sometimes don't understand war has been around for quite some time, but you always do it usually for your family, to keep family on the home front, right? So a lot of people forget about that. The kings of old, back in the day, had to fight these wars, and hopefully they had help as well, but they had to fight these wars. All right. We're still in a situation where, we've got people, you've got SWAT, you've got NYPD, you've got LAPD, you've got others that serve in different capacities, but there's still some do come back from war and still want to stay, being able to protect others. Others don't. But I say, why not put them in a good position here on the home front, right? With current jobs that they're already good with, rather than them having to look for jobs that they're, I think there's a training that could be done with police and task force here by Army veterans that they should technically cross-train each other. I think they would be better for it because they know how to be in a very bad case in a war situation, keep the peace, and I think our police kind of need training from certain, veterans, period, end of story. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. We're out of time. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez. Jesse Sanchez over there. No relation, and yet then some. Who knows? Probably got like cousins of cousins of cousins, right? Somewhere along the way. I don't know. Family tree. We got to do that someday.
Never know.
You never know. All right. Make it a great day. Remember, life is worth living. Live it well. Bye-bye, everyone. All right, for the rest of you, I'm still here. Want to just make sure we take care of some quick little social media comments here. Maria says this: I had brain tumors, had to learn to walk again. People talked behind my back on the streets, calling me drunk, so on. So I understand. Even when I talked, it wasn't nice treatment to me from people. So yeah, there you go. And and look, I always say, if people don't know your story, oh well. But people that know your story, if they talk behind your back and or in front of your back, I just say, man, you're not needed. But I want to say thank you to Maria as well as others, because this is the type of, sometimes on the show we get very raw here and we talk about stories and other things. And we always appreciate those that are very transparent, because other people learn from those that are very transparent, and we appreciate you. So never think you're alone. Never think you're the only one listening. You, as well as our radio audience, are always listening, so we appreciate you guys as well. All right, people, I'm out of time. Make it a great day. Whatever you do, remember, life is worth